Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. This is Chris. If you would, please like and subscribe. If you like what you see, it'd be greatly appreciated. Trying to do the Fast and Furious to 1,000 subscribers. It'd be awesome to get there. So, going to pass along today some repair stuff for a GM4L60E, manufactured from like 93 to 2013, approximately in that area. But this is going to be mostly about the pump for this transmission and the interchangeability of the two, and also some case stuff, identification, and a couple of the books that are good to use for resource material. This is a 2008 case, and if you can see there, the tags damaged, but that number on the left with the barcode, that if you look in there, it says 8KLD. That sticker is supposed to have the 8, the K, and the LD there, 8KLD, and that would be a 2008 KLD. So when you're rebuilding these and you're getting into it, there is some sticker identification things to be aware of. Like a 98 could say 8KLD, and a 2008 could say KLD. So you will have to do a lot of research on just to make sure you got the right case, but between the stickers and there's also there's also markings on the case, and there's this one on the side. I don't know if you can see that, and they also put it on some models. They'll have like markings down here on the bottom of the case. See that 8KLD? Yep. So, and for this specifically, interchangeability years for this is 2007, 2008. And another helpful identification for this is, you see that worm track? It kind of looks like a hippo. When you're researching and you start looking up hippo, worm track, 4L60E, that's what you're gonna get. This case with that worm track is pretty easy to identify if you know what you're looking for. But on that same note, there are cases where everything will be the same except for that impression will be in the shape of a giraffe. So you could Google that and see. I don't have a case that's got the giraffe worm track right now, but yeah, do your research. Come to find out, when I first started doing this, like, I don't want to do transmission rebuild and get into all that, and it's just too heavy metal, right? Well, come to find out, I found that I just love puzzles, and this is where I'm at. I just absolutely love this stuff. So hopefully you like it too, and hopefully you're not in a bad spot and you're like, man, I got all this money into this and I'm trying to make this work. There's lots of resource material that you can get for these. And before we get into too much more stuff, like ATSG makes a couple manuals here. This is a good one. Lots of information in there. It's the blue one and the green one for updates that they did. So feel free to check those out online, or I'm not sponsored by them or anything. And anyways, just good resource material, and there's lots of great builders on YouTube that go like step by step. But I just thought I'd put this on here because I do have a pump issue that I'm going to cover here. So with this pump, or actually I should also go to the cases because it's very relatable. So that 2008 case, here is a 2000, that's a 2008, and that's a 2007. So what I'm doing here is this 2008 case, which I started with, and all the guts, I ended up not being able to use this case because if you look in the bottom, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there is damage where the low reverse piston sits in the very bottom of the case. The low reverse piston has a sealing areas on it, and ultimately what happened is a lower planetary gear set had come apart, or components of it, and were left over in the case. And they they're called batwing washers. Some of those pieces were left in the case. This case actually came from a vehicle where a guy had taken it to some builder somewhere, and he told the guy, hey, I can rebuild this for you for 350 bucks, and you get a rebuild and you're good to go. Well, anybody that's rebuilding transmissions know that you're not getting a full rebuild for $350. I mean, that doesn't even cover all the parts and the kit. I mean, you got money into it. So anyways, he took his money, and then He put it in his truck, and guess what happened? Lost the 3/4 clutch pack like within like 5 seconds. So when I tore it apart and investigated it, I found pieces of metal in it from the batwing washers, from a planetary gear set, and then I found like debris in there and metal, and you know what's interesting is none of the components in there were damaged. So the guy did probably swap out some parts for that planetary set, but did not clean the case good. Ultimately, it's so important that you clean your case, get everything out of it, parts washer it, you know, and however you're going to get it clean and dried out and then aired out. Do a really good thorough job, because you don't want none of that junk in there causing you problems. And what happens is you start getting junk inside your transmission floating around. You have these filters in your, just some of the filters, but this is a separator plate, and like here you got filter, and here you got a filter, and look at that, all that junk that's in there, just clogging that. There was a design change too for these plates where they went like, this is a press, it's like a embedded material that they put on the separator plate. It's like attached to it, and they had a different kind before that where it was just like this like, see how it's not part of the separator plate, or it's not embedded on it, and they're like loose pieces of paper that you put on, and they're not paper, but they're gasket material that go on both sides. And the other thing that was kind of interesting is you have more surface area with like the separator plates filters, like there's 2 sides to it, and I really apologize for the camera, but there you go, there's one. It's got double the surface area or more. There's the other one's out of it right now, but the other filter. So going back to those cases real quick, 2008, that one got that damage in the bottom of it. So what I did is, you know, I still put the low reverse piston in there just to see. And you believe it or not, the low reverse piston, it's sealed. It's sealed, but like peace of mind, I couldn't leave that in there with all that damage. With that riding up and down, you know, like in that bore, like it without a doubt, it's going to damage that seal. So then I ended up picking up 2 transmissions, a 2007 and a 2008. To just, you know, have some extra parts, or maybe build 2 transmissions out of the deal. And then when I got into that 2008 and I started needing some parts, I was like, well, I'll take them out of this 2007, and, you know, I'll just get the new parts for the 2007 and rebuild that one later. Well, guess what? I got to looking at this 2007, and I think you guys will all love this. I mean, especially if you're doing this or have any experience with it. This is the rear of your case where your tail shaft comes out. Well, say hello to that. It kind of blew it out. So yeah, this case is junk. Hasta mañana, you know what I mean? So that's junk. 2 cases that are pretty much junk and unusable. If you're gonna do it and you're gonna go through all the work, pulling it and rebuilding it, get a good case. Do your air checks. Do all your air checks. So this is basically what I got here. This is pretty much all the lower end of this transmission is done and in, and it's just waiting for your input housing, and then which, you know, in that input housing, you guys all know. And if you don't, then here you go. It's got your 3/4 clutch packs, it's got your forward clutch packs, and it's got your like overrun or coast clutches in it. You got to do air checks on that as well. And that's your reverse input drum. And what was good about this, I was able to take like the reverse input drum out of the 07 and then put it in this 08. It's in just such really excellent shape. I couldn't ask for a better input drum surface, and it's not worn out. Very nice. But let's get into the meat of the pump here. So 2007, 2008 pumps appear to be interchangeable. It looks like in 2006 they started going to a new pump with an ISS, which is your speed sensor that your transmission would be monitoring then. And what they did is, if you look, this is the 08. This is obviously the stator for it. And this is the surface area where the pump slide rides. And this has really nice just witness marks. You can't take your fingernail and feel anything. And I don't know if you'll be able to pick that up, but this is an excellent shape for, you know, you're rebuilding it at home. Excellent. This is bad. this one was bad. So I took this apart, and this was from the 2008, and you can feel that it's all gouged and nicked from the veins, just grinding and ripping on that. This one, so again, this is a 2008 damaged. This is from the 2007, witness marks only. Very good pump, loving it. So I did some research. It appears to be interchangeable. The stators measure out to be the same, and your like your orifices where the oil goes through your oil galleys, they're all good to go. And I just want to get a picture if I can. Let me look here. If I can see this. Okay, we're gonna flip this 2008, I'm sorry, the 2007. This is the 2007, the good one. And if you'll look here, try to orient yourself to the pump, you know, and you'll see like, oh, there's some holes there. Well, that's where your input speed sensor goes, or it's where they put a plug. And I got a plug right here, I'll grab it. Here's the plug. Try to put that plug in for you here. And there we go, it slides right in there. So that's the plug. And then basically what I did is I will put the new input speed sensor wiring harness. There it is. I'll put that on this pump. And I looked at everything. Everything is identical. It measures all to be the same. Reference material online says the 2007 and 2008 pumps are interchangeable, but please do your own research and make sure that you've got the right stuff. Don't put a pump back in your transmission that's got any damage, because you're just asking for trouble. Definitely. Another thing I found with this pump is, which I have not seen in any of the other ones I've torn apart, but somebody ended up, you know, and I haven't rebuilt like, you know, hundreds of these. But just to kind of, to show you some differences. That spring there, one of those springs is broken. One spring's out of one of the pumps and one of the springs out of one of the other pumps. And what they did is normally you just got a spring in one of those relief balls to block one of the orifices for pressure relief. Well, one of them had they had one of the balls on the bottom of the spring and one on top of the spring, kind of blocking it off. So if your pump needed to relieve pressure, that it appears that like they wanted to make that spring even harder to compress, so that it would be harder for the fluid pressure to exhaust out of the pressure relief valve, is what it looks like. So I'm going to take it back to stock and just build it like, you know, how the manual says. There's a lot of things you could do to upgrade it, and you know, I'm not there yet, so I'm just going to kind of do a lot more research, a lot more figuring, and hopefully this video helps. Just make sure when you're looking, because there are some pumps where, I think in 2006 is what it says, where they started going to the input speed sensor, and some of them got machined and some of them didn't. So you may have one where there's like it's a non-machined surface, and you'll probably know right away. But if you look in there and you shine a light in there, it'll be I'll see if I can get a light here. So I think we covered a lot with this. I don't know if I can get you a real good look in there, but yeah, so everything's identical. You know, if you're working on this at home and you got one, you could probably light it up and see. I think that's it. So yeah, I'll be finishing up this pump and putting it back together and hopefully going from there. Hopefully this will help you. The reference material is good. Case identification is good. Years, make sure you're, you know, 98 or is it a 2008, because you don't want to end up in a problem there with dealing with that. And I'll put some more stuff online as this goes together. So yeah, you guys all have a good one, and thanks for watching.